Out and About TV. Travel, adventure, and RVs. Join Sharon and Tom each week as they travel America in a 30-foot trailer exploring and living the RV lifestyle. From trip and product reviews to RV show reports and an unfiltered look at life on the road. This is the show for you. Welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it. I'm Tom McAuliffe. It's time for another episode of Out and About TV. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. I wanted to just kind of let you know. Of course, you can always go by the Facebook page, and that kind of keeps you up to date about what we've got coming up and any stories we're looking for, and it's always just a lot of fun too. We've got about 12 episodes done so far, and we've got some exciting things happening and coming your way. This week, we're going to be talking about how RV sales are dropping and what opportunities that might provide for you. We're also going to talk about the Blue Ridge Parkway. What a beautiful, beautiful highway that is. We're going to start talking a little bit and doing some reviews on Hitches. Been exploring Hitches and researching Hitches, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to continue our roundup of RV YouTube channels. And this week we're going to be talking about Keeping Your Daydream, Keep Your Daydream TV. Yeah. Also just coming up, going to be doing a big episode on boondocking. That's coming up, including a trip report about Quartzsite in Arizona and a review of the Jackery Explorer 1000. So excited about that. Also coming up, we're going to do what can go wrong on the road and what you should do when that happens. Not if, but when, right? What else? Going to do a trip report on the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Also continuing our hitch with the Blue Ox Sway Pro. What else? Oh, Everglades National Park. So right here in Florida, and we're going to be talking about that. And we're also going to talk about the 5 RV destinations that almost nobody talks about. So we've got a lot of great content. We'd love to hear what you would like to see on the show. Just send us an email right at the bottom or stop by the Facebook page. You know, one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is this idea of community in the RV world. Because if you spend any time online or out on the road, really, you'll hear it all the time. The RV community is welcoming. Everyone's friendly in this community. It's one big family here in this community. And sometimes that's absolutely true, but not always. The reality is, like any community, there are circles, there are cliques, there are groups that have been together a long time, and people who know each other and trust each other. But if you're new, it can feel a little harder to break in. And quite frankly, downright unwelcoming. And it's a little more closed than one would expect. These groups talk about wanting new members, and then when you go and you try to participate, it's a little bit more closed than you expected. Let's just say that. And that's okay. That's part of human nature. But it does raise a question. If you're getting started in this lifestyle, how do you find your people? How do you find your tribe? How do you find a community that speaks to you? I recently went through this with an online, very popular, well-known online group, but found that it just wasn't for me. First off, they hated the fact that I had this show, and the owners of the site felt threatened by that. Um, and then, yeah, yeah. So I was forbidden to even mention the fact that I had a YouTube show like this, even though we're nonprofit, even though we're just set up to help educate and help people. So be it. And here's what I've learned about finding your tribe. Your tribe isn't always the first group you meet. It's the people who share your pace, who share your worldview, who share your style, if you will, your way of seeing the road. And maybe they're full-timers. Maybe they're just weekend warriors. Maybe they're just starting out like you, like I. And when you find them, you'll know. You'll definitely know. Things click. You just feel comfortable. The conversations are easy. There's no pressure. There's no posturing. I found it interesting that this individual that basically uninvited me into their forum and their community because they were worried that I was trying to sell something. Even after I explained the fact of we're not selling anything, and they're selling stuff. They're all about selling stuff. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Um, so you're looking for a tribe where there's no pressure, there's no posturing, and you feel like you don't have to prove anything. And that's really what this lifestyle is supposed to be all about. Camaraderie, not fitting into someone else's version of what a good forum member should be, but finding your own way and finding your own tribe. So if you're out there and you haven't quite found your tribe yet, help us make one here. Keep going. They're out there, and chances are they're looking for you too. We are. Thanks again for coming by. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Buckle up. We got a lot to cover, and away we go.
At andAbout TV, we've done the legwork for you, watching, analysing and curating the top RV YouTube channels that cover everything from trailers and fifth wheels to vans and mobile homes. Whether you're a full-time RVer, a weekend warrior, or just a RV curious wannabe, we will help you find the very best channels and provide some unique content of our own. Channels that entertain, educate, and inspire with hosts that have the heart of a teacher. These RV YouTubers have turned their passion into full-time careers, influencing the RV community and even shaping industry trends. Stop by and we will examine what these channels are covering. And it is more than just entertainment. Just consider andAbout your personal digital campfire for all things RV.
Hi, I'm Tom McAuliffe. Thanks so much for stopping by. You know, we've been covering all of the wonderful RV channels that are on YouTube now, and we do that every week. If you've got a favorite, please let us know about it. This week, we're going to talk about a great site called Keep Your Daydream. What a great title. Yeah. One of the things we love most about the RV lifestyle is the people, not just the places we go, but the stories we share along the way. And when it comes to telling those stories well, few channels do it better than Keep Your Daydream. I think what makes their content stand out the most isn't just where they travel, although they travel to some unique places. It's how they make you feel while you're watching. This is a family on the road, figuring it out in real time. The highs, the setbacks, the unexpected moments that don't always make it into the brochure life of living in an RV. That honesty, that's what connects with people. That's what connects with me when I watch these channels. There's a warmth to their storytelling. You're not just watching the trip, you're part of the journey. From the way they film their kids growing up on the road, to the way they talk about the challenges of being on the road, the mechanical issues, the tough days, the challenging travel plans. It all feels real because it is. And that's rare. Now, here's the lesson for anyone watching, especially if you're thinking about creating your own content. People don't connect with perfection, so I should be real safe. They connect with authenticity. I want to watch somebody who's real, not somebody who's scripted out and everything. Although having your stuff together and scripting out a little bit is not necessarily a bad thing. But people don't connect with perfection. They want to connect with authenticity. And you don't need to have the biggest rig or the most expensive gear or a brand new rig or going to a exotic destination, staying at the best RV resort. You don't need these things. You just need a story that's worth telling. Make us part of your life. Yeah. And Keep Your Daydream understands that. They've built something bigger than just a travel channel. They built a connection with their audience. And that's definitely, you can feel that. It's something that keeps people coming back. I've gone back and watched their episodes, and people come back episode after episode because it's that authenticity that they're looking for. And that's something we believe in here as well. Because this RV community, this tribe we're putting together, isn't about competing. It's about sharing the road and sharing our experiences and helping each other. And this site, their site, is all about that. So if you haven't checked them out yet, take a look at the YouTube channel, Keep Your Daydream. And there's a good chance that you'll see a little bit of your own journey in theirs. And who knows, maybe one day you'll see them somewhere down the road. Episodes drop on a regular basis, so stop by and check out Keep Your Daydream. You won't be sorry. Hey, every week tune in. We're going to keep cataloging the best in RV channels on YouTube and tell you what they're all about and save you a little bit of time there. Thanks a lot for tuning in. great 2026 RV industry shakeup is underway. Can you feel it? Something has changed in the RV world, and most buyers haven't caught up with it yet. After years of skyrocketing prices and empty dealer lots, inventory is piling up, sales are dropping, and for the first time in a long time, the advantage just may be shifting back to the buyer. But here's the problem. A lot of buyers are still walking into dealerships and making the same costly mistakes, ones that can follow them for years. Today, we're going to break down what's really happening in the RV industry and where the deals actually are. This is part of our continuing series about that over this course of this spring, and how we want to make sure that you don't get taken for a ride. Buying, or if you're even thinking about buying an RV right now, and you can understand what's happening behind the scenes. Buying or even thinking about buying an RV right now, then you need to understand what's happening behind the scenes. Because the RV industry is definitely going through a shift, and it's happening fast. The big headline is that after a massive boom during the pandemic years, the market is now cooling. Recent numbers show RV shipments and sales are down, not a little bit, a lot. And in some cases, historically, year over year. Now, a drop like that might sound dramatic, but here's the reality. The industry has always been cyclical. Boom, slow down, reset, boom, slow down. So what caused this shift? A few key things hit all at once. First, interest rates. If you would have told me that we would be sitting here at a 6% plus interest rate, I would have told you were 2 years ago, I would have told you were crazy. So first, interest rates. Financing an RV today costs a lot more than it did just a few years ago. Monthly payments are higher, and that alone has cooled demand. I've always been a big fan of saving up and paying cash. I think you get a better deal, and I'm not a big believer in debt. And the second thing I think that's happened is inventory. Manufacturers ramped up production during the boom, and now dealers are sitting there with a lot more units than they had expected to have on hand. And when inventory builds, prices start to move. Major players like Thor Industries and Winnebago are already adjusting their production cycles. Production is slowing. Strategies are starting to shift. And across the board, there's a move away from expansion and more towards inventory and pricing control. At the same time, dealerships are changing too. We've seen a lot more consolidation, and that's going to continue. Larger groups buying up these small independent dealers, and that can mean less pricing flexibility, fewer independent options, but on the other side of that coin, bigger inventories, more service locations. So like most things in the RV space, there are trade-offs. As we always ask, what does this mean for you? Because that's what this is all about. If you're a buyer, this could be one of the best windows of opportunity we've seen in years, because dealers are under pressure. There's no doubt about that. They are looking to make a deal. They're paying interest on holding that inventory, and that pressure is creating buyer opportunity. Opportunity to negotiate. Opportunity to shop. Opportunity to make a smarter deal. It's the return of negotiating. something that Americans have always been really poor at. And, recently, until in the recent past, negotiation had all but disappeared from not only this industry, but from many industries. Pay the price or get in line. That was the deal. But today, negotiation is back in a big way. And buyers who understand this moment are the ones who will win. But there's also a flip side. When demand slows and margins tighten, cost cutting can follow. And that can show up in build quality, materials being used, the inspection processes, and QC. So yes, prices may be improving, but your due diligence matters more than ever. And remember, as we've said before, a pre-purchase inspection is non-negotiable. I should have that tattooed on my... Now, a lot of people are asking the critical mass question. At what point do manufacturers wake up and say, wow, we've got a problem? What's it going to take? What critical mass is going to happen, and what drop is going to be big enough so that manufacturers will wake up and say that they've got a problem? This industry does not react well to one bad month. It reacts to trends. When you start seeing multiple quarters of declining sales and dealer lots filling up even more, and discounting starts to cut into margins, and that's when things will start to change. That's when production slows even further, and that's when incentives start to show up, and that might be when a return to quality happens. And that's when manufacturers will start rethinking how they do business, when that critical mass is reached. Sometimes it's the only thing they'll pay attention to. We have 3 quarters of declining sales. Oh, maybe we should adjust our course. And that's when manufacturers will rethink how they're doing business. In this world, it's not one headline that forces change. It's when the trend becomes impossible to ignore. I think we're at that point. And when we look at the big picture, we see that the RV lifestyle isn't going anywhere. It's still very, very popular, not only with older people, but also with the younger set. People still want freedom. They want to be able to travel and see this beautiful country of ours, and they want adventure. But the industry, it's recalibrating. After a surge, we're now in correction territory. And corrections create opportunities. Here's where a lot of buyers get it wrong. The biggest mistake that people make when they're shopping for an RV is focusing on the purchase price. No, you should focus on the ownership experience. What happens after you sign the check? How is warranty work handled? How does the rig hold its value? Once you own that RV, you're dealing with service, repairs, real world use, and suddenly the quote unquote great deal can become a real headache. Smart buyers don't just ask, what's the price? They ask, what's this going to be like to own? What's this going to be like 3 to 5 years from now? So here's the bottom line. The market is shifting, but the deals are out there. The smartest buyers, they're the ones that aren't chasing price. They're paying attention to the moment and making decisions that will hold up long after the sale. Right now, the advantage may be shifting back to the buyer. The real question is, are you ready to take it? Are you ready to take that advantage and buy a new rig? Maybe your first time rig, maybe upgrade to a larger rig or downgrade to a smaller rig. Something has changed in the RV world, and most buyers haven't caught on to it yet. After these years of skyrocketing prices and empty dealer lots, because once you own that RV, you're dealing with service schedules and maintenance work, warranty work, parts delays, and real world wear and tear. Suddenly, that great deal doesn't feel so great anymore. So the smartest buyers don't just ask, what's the price? They look at the long term of what it's going to cost to own that rig. I hope we've broken down what's really happening in the RV industry over the past couple of episodes and where the deals actually are. The deals are out there, both new and used. And most of all, how do we make sure that you don't get ripped off? So please post your questions below or in our Facebook page. I'm Tom for andAbout TV, and we'll see you down the road.
From the sea, from the air, from the land, the latest in news and perspectives.
Each week, we'll give you the very latest on news from the RV and camping industries. I love the change of the seasons, and fall in particular is one of my favorite seasons. let's take a fall color run down one of the most beautiful highways in America, the Blue Ridge Parkway. If there's a road in America that feels like it was made for RV travelers, it's the Blue Ridge Parkway. 469 miles of winding pavement stretching from Virginia down into North Carolina, with no billboards, no commercial traffic, no rush to get anywhere. This isn't a drive. This is an experience. You wake up early. The air's got that crisp fall bite to it. And maybe 50 degrees. Maybe it's a little cooler depending on your elevation. There's a light fog hanging in the valleys, drifting slowly between the ridge lines, almost like it's smoke. You step outside the rig, coffee in hand, and for a moment, everything is completely silent. Everything is quiet. Out here on the Blue Ridge Parkway, things move a little bit slower. You'll pass other RVers at overlooks, retirees, couples, families, all chasing the same thing, that perfect fall color, and to get a photograph of it. Yeah. Just different kinds of hues of reds and golds, and it's just really You'll pass other RVers at overlooks, retirees, couples, families, all chasing the same thing, that perfect fall color. And when the leaves turn, it's like the mountains are on fire. Deep reds, burnt orange, bright golds, layered across the hills as far as you can see. And driving the Parkway is easy. That's part of the magic. There's no 18-wheelers on this roadway, no traffic jams. It's made specifically to show off the countryside. Just long, sweeping curves and elevation changes that keep revealing something new around every bend. 1 minute you're tucked into a forest tunnel of color, and the next you're pulled over at an overlook staring out across miles and miles of rolling countryside. It's really spectacular. And there are great places along the way. Places like Lynn Cove Viaduct, where the road itself becomes part of the view, or Craggy Gardens, where the wind picks up just enough to remind you that you're at elevation. Camping along the Parkway, piece of cake. Simple, affordable, and exactly what you'd expect. Spots like Julian Price or Mount Pisgah. You're looking at around 20 to 35 bucks a night. No frills, but you don't come here for the frills. You come here for the air, for the quiet, and for the color. The view outside your door is like a painter's palette. And if you want full hookups, towns like Asheville are just a short drive away, and they bring a completely different energy. Local breweries, a lot of live music, great food, and people who generally seem to be happy that you're there. And timing matters here. It's very critical, because if you go too early, the leaves haven't changed yet. You go too late and the leaves have fallen. So timing is critical. Early October, the highest elevations start to turn. By mid to late October, that color has rolled downhill, creating this slow-moving wave of fall colors that you can actually follow. And if you time it just right, you don't just see fall, you drive right through it. And maybe the best part of the Blue Ridge Parkway isn't the scenery, it's the feeling. No schedule, no pressure, no destinations that you have to hit, and everybody seems truly pleased that you're there. Just you, the road, the fall colors, and what's ever waiting around the bend. For RV travelers, this is about as good as it gets. Check out this fall the Blue Ridge Parkway. You won't be sorry. I'm Tom for outAbout TV. So this time around, we're going to take a look at some more hitches, and two very popular ones, the Anderson hitch versus the 3P hitch. Which one is right for you, and can you afford it? Let's take a look. If you tow a travel trailer, a hitch might be the most important piece of gear that you'll ever buy. A good hitch doesn't just make towing easier, it also makes it safer. Today, we're looking at two very different approaches to weight distribution and swift control in hitches: the Anderson weight distribution hitch and the premium 3P style hitch, similar to the Pro Pride 3P hitch. And trust me, they're not the same thing. Let's start with the Anderson. It's a more traditional hitch. Right away, though, you'll notice something a little bit different. No steel bars, no heavy hardware. Instead, Anderson uses a chain-based system with a friction cone to manage sway and help distribute the weight. It's lighter, cleaner, and a whole lot easier to handle. Setup is straightforward. You're not wrestling with heavy spring bars and tensioning chains. Once you're dialed in, it's quiet on the road. No creaks, no groans. For a lot of RVers, especially those towing mid-size RVs, this is simply a big win. On the road, the Anderson does a solid job. I had the opportunity to drive one in 2024. You'll feel more stable than towing without weight distribution, and it definitely reduces sway. But, and this is important, it's still a friction-based system. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's still important to understand that this is a friction-based anti-sway system. So in heavy crosswinds, or when a big rig blows by on the highway, you're still going to feel some movement. Not dangerous, but it definitely is noticeable. Now let's kick it up a notch. Pull out the billfold, a little bit more expensive here, and let's talk about the 3P hitch. This is a completely different animal. The first thing you'll notice is the size. These things are huge. And it's a heavy-duty piece of equipment with a large front box and a linkage system that changes how the trailer behaves. This is fundamental. This isn't like other weight distribution systems or sway control systems. They have gone back to the drawing board and started anew. And instead of resisting sway, the 3P is designed to eliminate it altogether before it even occurs. And that's a big claim. It's got a big price tag to match. And in practice, I've only heard stories. I have not driven one myself. But I've heard that in practice, it can eliminate sway altogether, or pretty damn close. Behind the wheel, they say that you feel the difference immediately. The trailer tracks straight, crosswinds, minimal effect. Passing trucks, barely noticeable. And I talked to at least three end users who own the 3P system, and they all told me the exact same thing. It's like the trailer is locked into the path of the tow vehicle. And for longer rigs or heavier rigs, that driving confidence is huge. But that performance comes at a cost. The 3P hitch is heavier, it's more complex to install, significantly more expensive. You're not just dropping this on and hitting the road. It takes time to set up and configure, and once it's on, it's staying on. Now let's look at price versus performance, because that's really one of the most important equations. Because it comes down to this: what matters more to you, convenience or control? And maybe add a third C in there, cost. Convenience, cost, or control. The Anderson is lighter, easier to install, more affordable. The 3P hitch is more stable, more robust, and designed for maximum control. Two different philosophies, two different types of RV hitches, and so the question becomes, which one should you buy and why? If you're towing a smaller or mid-sized travel trailer, doing weekend trips, moderate distances, the Anderson's a great choice. No sense in having a bigger hit than needed on your pocketbook. Anderson's a great choice, but if you're towing a larger rig, putting some serious miles on the road, going up and down mountains, you need something more robust. And if you want the absolute best stability out there today, that's where the 3P hitch really shines. There's a reason why it's twice as expensive as the others. You get what you pay for. But I've spoken with people who have used the other, and so there is a difference, and it's not just technical. You feel it as you're driving down the road. One makes towing easier. Both make them good and safe, but I think the 3P, from what people say, makes it feel much more secure as you're driving down the highway at 55 miles an hour. At the end of the day, though, there's no such thing as a perfect hitch. The right hitch for how you travel, the right hitch for your rig, the right hitch for your budget, because when everything else is dialed in, you're not thinking about sway, you're not thinking about control, you're instead just enjoying the journey. And that's what a good hitch should help provide. I'm Tom for outAbout TV. Hey, I want to thank you again for stopping by. We really appreciate it. On behalf of Sharon and I, we hope you guys are doing well and getting ready for the great camping season that is before us. We've got lots more great stuff coming your way. We'd love to hear from you about what you would like to see on the show. Tell us good, bad, indifferent. We'd love to hear from you. And send us a picture and get a free sticker, a free Out and About sticker. Just send us a picture or a little video of your rig. We'd love to see it. And also, we're going to enter you into a drawing to win a free t-shirt. Next week, we're going to have the final design for the Out and About t-shirt, and you can win one right here on the show. Hey, thanks again so much for coming by. On behalf of Sharon and myself, we really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe and come back and see us and tell your friends. And we'll see you out and about.